I am now.
Oh, why? Why are you recording? Oh, you're gonna record the animals.
Yeah.
Are Colin's animals now?
Yeah.
So you're not posting anything, YouTube videos on Facebook or anything anymore?
I am, but I'm making them unlisted.
Oh,
So nobody can see them unless they have a link.
okay. So
I'm not going to make them public for a year.
So that way, if we need them, like, to give to, like, Jill's attorney or something like that.
Right. I'm mostly documenting the evidence.
What's going on.
I'm not making anything public. Not even personal stuff.
Right.
I'm not making anything public for a whole year.
Cool.
You know, once the dust settles, then I'll start making stuff public.
I hear the piggies. You hear them?
Yeah.
Is that Faith and Becky?
Yeah. Faith and Becky.
Aren't you guys glad you made the cut?
Yeah, you got to stay with us and not go to some strange farm.
Is that George and Lindley over there?
Yeah.
Say hi to Lindley. We love you, Lindley.
The only one I was really attached to that I had to let go was Trouble. But she was too much trouble to have here.
They already pooped in their food.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the nice thing is you can dump it out.
Let's go see,
Especially the goat poop.
let's go see Kevin. He's over here.
Quit pooping in your food dishes.
We cleaned the yard. It looks so nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the nice thing about these. Is they're easy to clean. Becky, and Faith. These two are Trouble goats too, but they're not as bad as Trouble was.
There's Kevin. Don't bite me, Kevin.
This one we call PETA because she's a pain in the ass. PETA! And this guy, he's my horse. Watch.
Stop harassing Kevin.
He hates it. But when he bugs me, I bug him back. Kevin's a good boy. For the most part. I mostly got Kevin to eat things that the sheep and goats don't. Keep the land somewhat clean. But now we got runned off the Stockton land by our new psycho neighbors. But luckily we have Collins to kind of sort of retreat to.
Hey, David.
Unfortunately, we don't have enough fencing to move all the animals.
David.
Yeah.
Don't let me forget tomorrow to grab that roost.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's guineas all over the floor.
That's fine. We'll get it tomorrow. So yeah, my roost and my chicken coop at Stockton, we're going to bring it over here so Laura can have it for her birds. Because the neighbors' dogs pretty much, well, the neighbors and their dogs pretty much killed most all of our birds over there. Mostly it was the neighbors' dogs, but we have reason to believe that they had a hand in it.
What are you talking about? Where are the sheepy weepies?
Right there. Not to mention they wouldn't control their dogs, so they knew what was going on. They just didn't care.
Seeing how scared everyone is of Carl makes me definitely think that they were getting attacked by dogs. Oh, look, her baby's behind her.
Yeah.
You can see the ears. Why don't you guys sleep in the barn? You have a barn now.
Like, we don't like goats.
We don't like Faith because she's a pain. She's a PETA.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
Becky. Becky's still my favorite. I had to keep Becky because she was our first female born on the land. And she loves me. She loves me. Her mom loved me too. Trouble. But your mom was too much trouble. If I had fencing here, I would have kept her. But I didn't have enough fencing. This is all we got. The only other fencing here is crappy, half-assed did barbed wire and field fence. Yeah. So Laura put up this 6-foot fence for the guinea fowl. We weren't planning on moving the sheep and goats here, although Laura did want the sheep over here. But we just didn't have fencing. So I wasn't planning on moving any of them. Ginger, you ain't had your baby yet? Ginger's gonna pop anytime now. But anyways. Yeah, the neighbors and their dogs were killing our livestock. We lost all of the lambs last year except for one, and that's because we moved it to Kaplinger. Ginger, and we moved Ginger and her baby, which is Pete, to Kaplinger. That was the only way we was able to save Pete's life, because either the neighbors or the neighbors' dogs or both were picking them off. And same with goats. And goats, goats are better at protecting their young. But last winter, I don't think we lost any goats. But over the summer, we had more baby goats, and all of them disappeared. Every single one. So, yeah, every single one of them disappeared. So we don't know what happened. And all we know is we didn't have any trouble with... Well, the neighbors kept blaming it on coyotes. Oh, we've killed like hundreds of coyotes. It's like, did you really? I never had a coyote problem before. I mean, or even a bobcat problem. Maybe one or two got picked off that I didn't notice. But not the whole freaking herd. Not all of my baby goats got picked off before. Like I said, maybe one or two disappeared and I either didn't notice or I did notice, but it wasn't a big deal because there's only one or two. But this year it was all of them, except for Pete. So, yeah. And then the neighbors started bullying me and trying to get my property for $2,000 an acre. And it's like, it's worth $8,000 an acre. Why are you trying to push me out and then lowball me for my property? So that's basically what's going down. And I admitted, I hadn't had fencing all the way around my property yet, but I was working on it. Michael, the south neighbor, helped me finish the fence line on the south side. And I had already paid David Ray to do the east fence line, but he never did it. Him and I cleared it a few years ago. Several years ago. But he never finished it like he said he would. I bought the fencing, he just didn't do it. I had it in storage. I put it in storage because when David Ray and I had our falling out, I was afraid he was going to steal it. Like he stole a bunch of other stuff from me. And I didn't have the tools. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I kind of don't. And I had to have help doing it. But anyways, So I hadn't got the east fence line done yet. I was working on clearing the east fence line again because it needed to be cleared again. All the trees that we had cleared before growed back up. And so I was working on it, but it wasn't a priority. I mean, it was one of my priorities, but it wasn't at the top of my priority list because Dakota and Robert kept saying, oh, it's no problem. It's no problem. The goats aren't a problem. And then in October, it all of a sudden became a problem. That's also when they started telling me they want my property, basically. It's like, oh, if you sell to us. Don't sell to Michael. Make sure you sell it to us. We want your property. We want your property and Michael's property. I was like, oh, okay. And then the next thing I know, I got problems with them. They're harassing me and bullying me, and they're not taking responsibility. And then when we catch their dogs in the act of killing our fowl, because before we didn't have any proof, we didn't have any evidence. We just knew something was killing off our animals, but we didn't know exactly what it was because we never could catch them. Then we caught them red-handed or red-pawed. And we wanted them to be accountable for their dogs, and then they got pissed off and threatened to sue us. It's like, well, wait a minute. You want me to be accountable for my goats, but you don't want to be accountable for your dogs? You know? Because basically what it boils down to is they did the same thing that Austin did to me a few years back. His dogs were killing my birds too. And I kept saying something about it, and he said he would replace them, but he never did. And he said he would do something about his dogs, but he never did. Because he wanted my property too. In fact, my realtor was his realtor. And his realtor came to me and said that Austin wanted my property. Oh, well, he didn't say Austin because they're buddies. He was like, oh, I got a guy who's interested in your property. And so I was like, it's Austin, ain't it? He goes, how'd you know? I don't remember what he said exactly, but he says, yeah, he admitted it. And so I told his friend, Corby, that's Corby Stockton, that's my realtor. I told him, says, well, look, hey, because this is when David Ray and I were at our wits' end, and I was ready to pack it up. And I was like, I tell you what, if you find me something better, then, because I was doing an off-grid project at the time, and I was tired. I was getting tired because nobody wanted to do anything. It's like I was trying to do a sustainable community, and nobody wanted to do shit. It was all me. So I was like, fuck this shit. I'm out. I'm done. So I told Corby, I says, it's like, hey, yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm coming. Okay. So I told Corby, I said, you find me something better, I'll move all my shit over there and I'll sell this. But he never could find me something in time. There was good deals. But the problem was other people beat me to them because I'm a truck driver. I was going all the time. Not all the time, but quite a bit. And so, it's like every time I come home, or every time I find a deal, by the time I got home, somebody had already beat me to it. So we couldn't jump on anything. Then I gave up looking. Then Austin sold his property to Dakota. And things were quiet for a couple of years until Robert moved in. And then things started getting nasty. And I think Robert's more of the problem with his dogs. But Dakota is like more evil, nasty. And he's the one who's basically, coming at our throats. Coming for the jugular. But they both want my property. And they both admitted it. And they both lowballed me. Although Dakota offered me $2,000 an acre, where I think Robert only offered me 3, but I don't know which one's worse, Robert or Dakota, but I know we've had more problems with Robert's dogs, I think, but we've had more problems with Dakota. So, but yeah, they're after my land. And so I basically and they've been sabotaging my fencing. Ever since I fixed the fence on the east side, then they started sabotaging my fencing. It's like and he claims he documented the problem for 3 years. But meanwhile, he was telling me they weren't a problem. But apparently he's been documenting that it was a problem while telling me it wasn't a problem. And then after I fixed the problem, then he starts making problems. He starts messing with the fence so the goats will get out. So he has something to complain about. So I think the problem is he just wants something to complain about, something to use against me. So after I fix the problem, he creates problems. Like the government, never let a good crisis go to waste. So if there's not a problem, make a problem. And that's basically what he's doing. So I've just been getting my animals and my valuables off the property because, he keeps trying to let my goats out. So they're a problem. And so I had to sell 1/3 of my livestock. 1/3's already going to the butcher. I plan on that anyways. They're all boys. So 1/3's going to the butcher. I had to sell off 1/3, and we're going to try to keep 1/3. And we're just regrouping and starting over. And I got to get all my valuables off that property because they keep saying people are trespassing, or the night that they messed with my fence, or somebody messed with my fence, I think it was them. It has to be them. Last week or 2 ago, I can't remember the exact date, but I got it documented. They called Michael and told him that they saw somebody in the woods with flashlights, spotlights, or whatever. And so I think Michael called the cops, and they were out there looking for hours, didn't see nobody. Meanwhile, I think it was a distraction because that same night, someone had tampered with my gate to let the goats out. And so I think they did that. And then they made it look like somebody else was on the property so that we wouldn't suspect them. And they're just being like, oh, we're just being neighborly. We're reporting that we saw somebody. So, and Michael said that the cops are going to stop coming out if they keep calling the cops out. And maybe they called the cops. I can't remember, because Michael said if they keep calling the cops out for these false alarms, the cops are going to stop coming out. And that's a red flag, because if the cops stop coming out, then they pretty much have free reign to do whatever they want. So I was like, I got to get my shit out of there. And so that's when I started cleaning house. Started getting all my stuff out. All my valuables, all my animals. Because these guys are crazy. And Dakota has a track record down in Lawrence County of doing very similar nefarious things. Messing with his neighbors, fencing there, and then accusing them of her cattle getting out, and then he steals her cattle, takes it to auction, and then claims that they got sick and died on his property because she didn't take very good care of them. And we didn't even know about this stuff till we started having problems with him. So we started looking into his background, and we found this stuff going on down in Lawrence County. So now we know this guy's a dirty dog, and we got a CYOA. So we're just getting all of our animals and our valuables out of there, bringing everything over to here, so we're more safe and secure. Until we fix the problem over there. And yeah. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm not there to babysit it because I'm on the road all the time. Not all the time, but I'd say 75-80% of the time I'm on the road. So I can't be there to babysit the situation. And I never had any trouble with my goats, you know, till these guys moved in. And even then, they said they weren't trouble until October. All of a sudden, when they want my property, the goats are a problem. So, and that's what Michael said. He says, it's all about your property. They want your property, so they're coming up with anything they can to make you the problem. Because my goats have been pretty good. I mean, yeah, they go out, they eat weeds, they eat grass. You know, they might create a little bit of havoc, maybe. But Michael's never had any trouble with them. None of my other neighbors had trouble with them. And I had less fencing then than I do now. You know, so it's like the worst thing they do is they eat grass, and he claims, oh, they were eating all my hay. They haven't touched the hay that I bought from him last year. Why would they be over there eating his hay? They don't even like his hay. I had to go buy hay from somebody else because they won't eat the hay I bought from Robert. So I seriously doubt they're over there eating all of his hay. That's a bunch of crap. So, yeah, they might be eating his grass, but it's not like he has some kind of fancy specialty grass growing. They usually eat weeds. So, and he has cattle. Goats and cows eat different things. So, it's like, you should be happy the goats are over there eating the stuff that the cows don't. And in fact, they were. They were happy the goats were over there eating things that the cows didn't up until October of last year. This is January now. Up until October, when they decided they wanted my property, that's when the goats were a problem. So, anyways, I gotta get. But, sorry I went off on a rant. I was mostly just gonna videotape the animals on the hill. But I guess we're just gonna start. We're going to start over here. I was going to keep my animals in Stockton and let Laura do what she wanted over here. But, oh yeah, that was another thing too. When I told that to Dakota, because he thought I was going to move all the animals over here. I was like, well, I don't have fencing over here. I'm going to keep my animals over there. That's when he lost his shit. Because he wanted me to move so he can have my land. So I think he's been plotting to get my land for quite a while. He just thought we were moving. Like, for good. And then when we found out we weren't, then he lost his shit. Anyways, alright.